Alright, folks, and welcome back to the channel. We're just going to be back to go over the weekend's action, as there was no content last week as I was away. Did to Manchester, we'll obviously go through the game against Kilmarnock at the weekend. Also discuss the post-split fixtures, which were released today, and just go over it. I'm joined by Alistair. How you doing, Alistair?
Good, thanks, you.
Hi, good. Now the important question. No matter how much I've paid you to say this, did you miss me on Saturday?
Of course, mate.
Right,
You weren't
okay.
missed. Well, not so much the first off, mate, because you were, well, my ass was never off on the seat
Aye.
for the first 24 minutes. Everything kept flying into the goal pretty much. And,
Aye.
but no, brilliant start. Just the response we wanted, to be fair.
Well, I've waited months for Celtic actually to play some proper football at times, and the
Yeah,
day the
they're a
day
bit
they
sluggish.
the day they I'm no fucking there. So
That's
maybe
happened to you before, is it the goal?
maybe I shouldn't attend games then, and we'll just talk.
Oh,
uh,
well.
anyway, but Alistair, as you said, I just seen the highlights. So, but what did you make of the game? Obviously, some really good goals.
Well, I am just the tempo, and the movement, the crispness in the passing, and I just genuinely felt right, we're up for this today. And I thought, to be fair, Scales, Taylor, and Forrest, and even Big Ida, I know he got a lot of stick for not scoring a goal, but his hold up play was good. So as I say, it all seemed to work. And I thought playing Maeda in in the wide position helped, to be fair. I know he's done a job for us, more than a job, a central striker, but personally, it just reaffirmed that we need to replace him in the summer. But no, genuinely really, really good.
No, I think it's interesting. I've said for weeks that I think Maida should go back out of left. I'm also saying he's too easy to defend against when he's up front, but people
You
just put
can pin him down.
people just put three men round him, and then he's obviously in that central position when it's really congested against these teams that are playing five at the back. I think what Celtic should be doing over these next few games, especially in the league games where we probably get room to experiment, I'd be playing get either a run of games. And then if we come to the end of the season, either still not, scoring, then I'd be going right. I do think Celtic need to bring a striker in anyway, because I think Maida is, it's always good to have that option. He can play up front, but I'd rather see him dies in Maida out. The bikes, I think he terrorises fullbacks. To be fair, he terrorises anybody on the part, to be honest. But,
But I'll be honest with you, I might be in the minority because there's there's some supporters that have made their mind up about Ida, but I thought he genuinely was okay in Saturday.
I've no such made my mind up about him. I
No, I
just,
didn't mean you, I just meant
I'm,
in general.
no, I know, but I have been very critical of him this season. But I'm struggling to get excited about it. See, I need players to give me something to go right or there.
Yeah, well,
Like Maeda, for instance, players like, when Hatate puts that good finishing, you're thinking, but then that's in the frustration with, some of these Celtic players, maybe the second half of the season, it's like Nicholas Kuhn, for instance, he's got his locker, he's just no
and
showed
when
it.
he come on, sorry I interrupt you, but when he come on, the game kind of died.
Aye. But then you look at somebody like Tati, he's got a goal like that in him, but he's not showed it enough. You look at
Mm.
players,
The first thing you text me when you went when Hatate's on it,
aye.
he's unplayable, and by God was he on it on Saturday.
But that's the thing, I think that's where I've been a bit frustrated with Celtic in the last 6 months. is, we can't just, we can't, especially getting next season, we can't just have, oh, one player on it, every few games. You need players on it every single game you play for Celtic. So, it was obviously brilliant to see us, kick on. But, I knew we had that performance in us. But,
Yeah,
there was a lot more crispness to the passing. There was a lot, we were shooting the edge of the box, which I thought was a pleasing thing as well. And I think I'm glad, and that is a Rodgers thing, because I think they've been told to keep constantly putting the ball in the box all the time, trying to fart about with it at times, and that's what we have been doing, farting about with the ball. Instead of just maybe having a shot, putting a cross in, bit more direct. That's I'd say. I just think we're a wee bit more direct. And I think that's what, Celtic have to be. I think Brendan Rodgers is obsessed with possession, but you can still have possession of the ball and be a bit more direct. We fucking broke the
yeah,
world the record for the most amount of passes in a football match. So I
yeah.
mean, it's no, you don't need to pass around the centre halves 30 times before trying to get the ball into midfield. You should be trying to get the ball into midfield and the wingers as soon as possible. That's why I don't believe in this changing attack bollocks. It's just you you get your great good players on the ball, like your Harmy Engels. He was really good at the weekend. You get your players like
I'm
McGregor.
going. I'm going to be honest with you, Josh, and even you would have seen this if you were watching it on your phone. They kind of varied. You know how we always say they pick a wing and they go for it. They kind of varied it and
Exactly.
started, and you
That's
could
what
tell.
That's what you need to do. You need to give teams, look, that's what I'm talking about, getting the ball into midfield and with your pace and, using your wingers, getting them on the ball, players like Jota, even Forrest, I'm not a big fan of him, but getting them on the ball, you need to give teams stuff to think about. And I don't think, especially last weekend, we didn't do any of that. It was so slow. I mean,
I
you know,
mean, I mean, last weekend we just we just started playing loosely in the last 10 minutes, and if you do that against any opposition, doesn't matter if they're bottom of the league or no. If you wait till about 10 minutes, 15 minutes to go before you start upping the tempo, you're going to struggle.
And that's why I'm glad we've done. No, I know Celtic are not going to score four. Don't expect Celtic to score 4 goals in 20 minutes. But I'm glad we, remember 1 or 2 up and then 10. Then you can be a bit more fancy instead of waiting to sit and think, oh shit, we're in a game here. And that's what I
Yeah,
thought happened last week. It was like, oh shit, they're not going to roll in and let us score. We
I
going
know.
to, and by that point it's too late. You know, at that point. So I'm hoping. I said last week anyway. I hope this was a line in the sand and Rogers put a bit of rocket up the backside because I don't care how
Which
far
is
away you
clearly
look.
done because I don't know if you noticed. I mean, there were even there were it wasn't bouncing as hard, but there were a bit of an atmosphere before it, and it wasn't Leipzig or Bayern Munich material, but it was the for for your running in my league game. There were an expectancy in the air that right, come on, let's finally try and get this over the line.
And I don't really care how many points. At the end of the day, your job is not just to win games, but it's also to entertain the supporters that pay their money, and they didn't do that last week. We talk a lot about the Celtic atmosphere being pretty shite, but for instance, last week they didn't have anything to sing about.
No,
Because it was awful. And, at the end of the day, I even went as far as saying you should sometimes refund the money. No, don't get me wrong, players had the off days, but, at the end of the day, that's what really frustrated because I just felt the fans had been fleeced of their money, to be honest, or their ticket prices because it's no cheap. It's no
well,
cheap. It's not like
I'm gonna
£36.
I'm gonna give the ticket officer a break and say thank you for no giving me a ticket for that game of it.
Aye. No, but I'm just. But I'm glad, when they put a performance in like that, and all the fans are happy. It's no rocket science. You give them something to shout about. I'm pretty sure they're going to shout about it. Obviously, Alistair, 24 hours later. or a kick of the ball away from being confirmed as.
We need to talk about Vickers' goal.
We can talk about it if you want.
Have we ever, have we ever seen a centre half? No, I know it was probably a fluke, but
I don't
what,
know.
what a strike!
That's not. You can't fluke that.
But I loved Adam Eden. Who was the other one? Adam Eden.
Johnson.
Alison Johnson's face. It was like, where did that come from?
Aye. No, no. It was a really good goal, man. As I said, there was a lot of goals, even the Kilmarnock goal, but I do think Zinnesal didn't recover his selling a lot of glory, but I'm not going to.
No, he didn't.
I'm not going to come
But,
down hard on him, innit? I'm
but
not going to.
I mean, people were saying, go is really poor, and I thought, listen, we're 4 up. If he
Aye.
makes that mistake and we're 0-0 and he makes that mistake, then you've got a problem. Better learn.
Aye, not by another player I'll give a bit of credit to is Ralston, I think, when he comes in now.
It's a finish.
He's doing a
What's the like playing
to be fair,
Kilmarnock
to be
at
fair,
opening
to be fair,
twice?
he's always had a decent finisher on for a right back. Like, he scored a few for I think he scored for Scotland. He scored
Aye,
that one at Tynecastle in Angie's first game. He's scored that. He went on a run. I think he scored about 3 games in a row when Ange
I
first came in.
can think of one important one.
The Ross County one. But he's not some good finishes, obviously. But as I said, that was the fast forward to 24 hours later. You think we're going to win the league, and then the Rangers get a last minute equaliser. I mean, it's delaying inevitable. It's the league is done, but it obviously makes
Well,
it. Big,
I'm claiming it's done. I know arithmetically, but with 42 goals and
it's done. It's
15
just
clearance, so
all it needs to be done is just put that C next to their name, really, in the gold strap, whatever, on
well,
Sky. But obviously, it means
well,
we kind of win it for another 2 weeks, obviously, because we've got the cup semi final against
well. I
Johnston this
would
weekend.
rather hear the cup semi and then have to, then rather than play a game, for example. And no, I would rather we had the cup semi because obviously that's the competitive fit winner, Josh.
Aye.
That the derby, of course.
Um, no, but aye. So we can only obviously we can win it when the split starts against Dundee United. The split fixtures obviously were released today, and that as follows. If you give me 2 seconds. As I said, there we played Dundee United at Tannadice, and the first fixture on the 26th of April. That'll be a half-12 kickoff. We'll probably be on Sky. Then we play Rangers on the Sunday, the 4th of May at 12 noon. That'll be on Sky as well. Then we play Hibs at Celtic Park
That would be.
on the 10th, which won't be because it's a 3 o'clock kickoff. Play Aberdeen in the midweek at Pittodrie, the 14th of May, quarter that will probably be on Sky. And then you've got what will probably be Trophy Day, 12:30, May 17 on the Saturday. That will be on Sky as it's the Trophy Day as well. Alistair, what's your first thoughts on the split fixtures?
Yeah, well, Josh, they weren't particularly hard to work out. It was just the order, and to be honest, don't really care about the order, mate. It's just when are we playing? When are we? When can we win it? When are we playing the derby? When are we lifting the trophy?
Aye.
And
Um,
simple.
there's obviously there's teams in there we've no got a victory against, especially Dundee United, Tannadice. We've not beat Rangers at Ibrox this season. Because the Tannadice game. Ironically for me, we can win the league there, but I think that's when this rough patch in these last 6 months kind of started. That is it 0-0 game. We had a lot
Yeah,
of
that
ball
was
there
a
with
four fest.
but
And the best of it is we probably had as much possession as we had on Saturday, especially in the first half at Tannadice. but for some reason we just couldn't break a defence down.
I'll
But
tell you the reason. There's a difference between there's difference between possession with purpose, which we had on Saturday, to pointless possession. That is the big difference. I think we've had a lot of pointless possession in games and You know what, possession looks brilliant. You've got 90, but what do you do with the ball? We've not done enough. And that's what I'm talking about with the moving quick. If you move a team quick, you're going to get chances.
aye,
We've not done that. So, I think it's, a game, well, it should be, there's sort of the motivation that you can win a league title. I don't really know what other motivation we need, but it's
I
also a
want to
team.
win the game. I
Aye,
tell you what I want. I've just thought of this. I would like a Kilmarnock at Rugby Park type performance and bust through it kind of thing.
aye,
Remember last year we were outstanding that night.
aye. And obviously we've got Rangers who we haven't beaten at Ibrox this
It'd be
season.
nice playing those two.
Aye. Obviously that 3-0 game at Ibrox was a shambles, to be honest with
Move
you.
on, move on.
Well, I'm not going to talk about it, but it was a complete shambles. So, we've not won at Ibrox. We don't want Rangers to, what would it be,
Beat it 3 times.
3 times, and we've only beat them
Twice.
once in the league.
Once in
So,
a week, once in a cup final.
there's good games there. Obviously, you've got Aberdeen at Pittodrie as well. Obviously, it was difficult. We're not there last time, but I think they were in a bit of a different vein of form we went up there. They were.
I think, to be honest, what the last time we were up at Aberdeen, we I'll defy anybody to say we can play good fit naked conditions because if you remember it was in the
Aye,
middle of that storm.
aye,
So and that was the night Rio scored. That was the night they collapsed, to be honest with you, because I've never recovered. I
aye.
think it was
And then you've got Hibs at home. I mean, Hibs must be sick to sight us at Celtic Park. I mean, that's 4 times they've played us now at
aye,
Celtic Park.
well it will
Two in
be
the
us.
cups and then one in the league, and then
Well,
I
we can forever be grateful, Joe, that the quarter final was at Celtic Park because,
think it
and
was a
that's a
different game.
credit to Hibs. I wouldn't have fancied Easter Road, and I
No, I think
want.
it would be a completely different game. And plus, I don't think, as I've said, I don't think Celtic have been in a. We've been winning games. I don't think I've been winning games with great.
I mean, they could prove us wrong, Rock. I'm just glad it come out the right side for us.
Aye. Um, but no, I think it's you're going to play them all at the teams at one point. Always in the top six. If I'm being honest with you, I'd like to see 5 wins out of 5. Especially those Rangers. I think
I
we need
mean,
to be beating Rangers.
see if you won 1-4, 1-4, and maybe draw the other one. You take that,
I
but
could I could see us either, if you want my honest, I think we'll beat Dundee United. I could see us either winning or drawing at Ibrox if we play well. If we play like the last 2 times, I think Rangers beat us again personally.
well, you don't know what state they're going to be in.
I
I
mean,
mean, if they lose to Athletic Club or worst case scenario for a Celtic point of view, and or they're preparing for a semi final. See that's me and
I,
say
I
on
don't,
the
I
say
don't, I
don't
don't,
know.
I don't buy that because the last, even the one that we played at Celtic Park, they were preparing for a
Aye.
European game, and it was still beat us. So I think no matter what, Ferguson will be like, he'll have him up for it.
No, I don't think Ferguson will do what he done yesterday. He wouldn't play a reserve team.
No, it's a derby. I don't. No, I don't. No,
No, I
there's
don't
no,
think he'll get
no
away with
doubt
that.
it's a derby. They're not going to play a reserve team in a derby.
No, no,
Um, I
no.
think we will beat Hibs. I think it'll either be a win and a draw against Aberdeen, and I think we'll beat St Mirren to end off the
I
season.
want to try and won the league as much as possible.
Aye.
I
No,
do.
definitely. But no, obviously that'll start next weekend. Obviously, the focus is that League Cup semi-final on Sunday
Scottish
itself.
Cup, you mean?
Scottish Cup, sorry, aye. Is Celtic play St Johnstone in the hope of getting to the Scottish Cup final and taking another step to completing the treble. We'll be back later on in the week with build up to that game, and until then, we'll speak to you later. And hail, hail.
Hail, hail.